welcome to day one of the Giant Healthcare event. I'm Natalie Turner with Disruptive Live, and today I am joined by the CEO of VastMindz, Nick. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, Natalie. Good to be here with you.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's great to have you here.
Yeah.
So, how are you finding the event?
I think the event's fantastic. I've met a lot of influential people in medtech, a lot of people doing some very exciting things in healthcare, all trying to revolutionize the space. I think this space is really set up for digital disruption. I guess depends where the inflection point is. I believe it will be within the next 5 to 10 years. But yeah, the event's amazing. Of course, at Chelsea Football Club. I'm not a big football fan, right? But it's great to see the stadium and everything.
Yeah, it's a great venue, isn't it?
It's a fantastic venue.
Yeah.
Fantastic venue, and just it's so great and refreshing to see so many like-minded people here doing similar things that we are trying to do. And it really just gives us more motivation to pursue our initiatives in the space.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? While we're talking about pursuing the future and technology and AI, tell us, what is VastMindz? What do you guys do? Why are you here today?
Yeah, so VastMindz is an artificial intelligence company focused on data-driven solutions. Our application focus within healthcare is predictive diagnostics.
Right.
So we aim to help doctors, clinicians, physicians with the early detection of certain diseases. And we are working in complex healthcare settings like ICUs, primary care, secondary care. We've been working with health insurers to help them better understand the state of health of individuals on their corporate wellness programs. And our mission is to be able to use an enormous amount of data that we are constantly generating through our wearables, our smartphone, and also patient that is stored in a hospital's database, such as an EHRS, collecting that all together and using machines to discover new insights into how healthy you really are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think the major impact you're having on the industry right now?
So I think the major impact is the ability to... Now, without getting too technical, there is an ever-growing amount of data being generated in healthcare. And I promise I won't get too technical, I promise you, Natalie. So, by 2020, let's put this in perspective. In 2013, there's around 153 exabytes worth of data. 1 exabyte is 1 billion gigabytes, right? So you can kind of gauge how big that is. By 2020, i.e. next year, there'll be around 2,314 exabytes worth of healthcare data.
Wow.
So the ability to distill that sheer amount of data and discover new insights will put your organization much ahead of the competition versus anyone else. I mean, us, unfortunately, as humans, we're limited to low dimensionality. And sometimes we refer to our cognitive bias or what we already know. Things could be changing without our supervision, and we need machines to come in from an unbiased perspective, analyze the data objectively, and discover new insights that we probably wouldn't have even thought of. And so the impact is really to discover new insights that will ultimately be able to help save lives.
So, talking about AI, what are the challenges of adoption in AI?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, there's many challenges, right? So, you as a human or as a patient, would you be happy to be diagnosed by a machine? Would you even trust that machine? How do you know that it's accurate enough? How does a doctor know how a complex black box machine made its decision? From a doctor's perspective, this is just a technology box that is making all sorts of fancy decisions, but you really don't know how it made that decision, because there's a lot of complex interconnected parts within an AI algorithm that humans aren't really able to understand. So I guess one of the challenges is if we are approaching a hospital and trying to infuse AI and augmented intelligence within our organization, the challenge is to help doctors understand how this is really working. Help doctors understand how a machine came to its decisions. Because trust, I mean, there's a really big issue of trust. You as a patient probably wouldn't be happy with trusting a machine to diagnose a severe condition, such as sepsis, such as AKI, or a severe degenerative condition like that. Probably wouldn't be happy to have that done by a machine.
Why is that?
you can't verify the accuracy of the machine. How do you know how accurate that machine is? How do you know there's not a glitch in that machine? How do you know that machine is not externally validated? So what I mean by external validation is, in an AI setting, I could be working in, let's say, San Francisco. I could be developing a really accurate model in diagnosing lung cancer on CT scans for individuals in San Francisco. Now, if we go into the UK setting, it really depends on how you have modeled an AI algorithm. Have you done it in an isolated regional setting, such as San Francisco? Because if you take that model to China or Beijing, probably is not going to work as well. You really need to build in a holistic data set to build a model that is able to diagnose or accurately diagnose an international population. Now, it's hard to do that, right? Because not everyone wants to share their data. You can't just go up to, let's say, Imperial College London NHS Trust and say, can I have your data because I want to create a really cool AI algorithm that will be able to diagnose a diverse population that you, Imperial, treat every day. It comes down to data privacy, which is another challenge in the adoption of AI.
So, growing up in the digital age,
yes.
Do you think it's an exciting time, or do you think does AI pose too many threats?
No, I think it's a very exciting time. I think especially millennial doctors, are very used to digital application, very used to using augmented reality, virtual reality, especially in an education setting or a university setting. I mean, some millennial doctors now are using VR to train specific students on how to operate or perform a specific type of surgery.
I've seen that.
And that's crazy, right? I mean, and as our millennial generation, which will effectively be the new disruptors in this world, as they become more adept with using such technologies, I think it will become easier and easier for them to understand how AI works and easier for them to accept the adoption of AI within such an organization.
So what are the new innovations we're looking at?
So specifically for us, we've partnered actually with a really cool Israeli startup called Binah. And what we are doing with them is bringing an application to be able to extract vital signs about an individual just from using video footage. So you can have this application in a smartphone camera. It doesn't even need to be a high resolution video. But this application has the ability, when you look into it, to analyze certain parts of your skin and analyze changes in the light absorption, which will give us an indication of your pulse rate. Remember, only using video footage. Give us an indication of your pulse rate, but not just your pulse rate, other vitals such as your oxygen saturation levels, your respiration rate, even your blood pressure, your body temperature, even your mental stress levels as well.
Can anybody access this?
So at the moment, we are working primarily on a B2B. We are working with this application on a B2B SaaS-based model.
Will it be open to consumers at any point?
It's a potential, right? It's a potential for consumers to be open to this. I mean, insurers are primarily using this so that they have a remote way of diagnosing an individual on their corporate wellness programs or assessing the deterioration in the health of specific people on their corporate wellness programs so that they can better incentivize those people to go and see a doctor sooner, quicker, so they decrease their recovery times. I mean, from conversation with insurers, their main mission in the next 10 years is to become a lifestyle partner, not to just be a health insurance company that's there when things go wrong. They want to be your lifestyle partner. They want to help you get healthier, quicker, faster, help you with the early detection of certain risks or pathologies that you might be prone to. And that's really their mission, and we see a way that AI and augmented intelligence can help their mission, or help accelerate their mission.
So the key message that you want to get out to your audience today, what is that here at Giant Health?
So the real key message is accept AI. AI is a lovely thing. AI is not a scary black spot technology that you don't understand what it's doing or what decisions it's making. I think it's really, we need to embrace the adoption of AI, augment intelligence in complex healthcare settings, because ultimately we know that this technology will be able to help save people's lives.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we're going to leave it on that note, but that was fantastic.
No, that was great.
Thank you so much for coming on and discussing with us. Yeah, no problem at all. That's all from us for now, but please don't go away. We'll be back after a short break. See you in a bit.